The act of kindness that can be given to everyone in order to help them and make a better community to live in. Good day, everyone. We are the Group 2 who will be presenting to you volunteerism. But first, let us meet the group. So first, we have Nicole Camara, who will be reporting universal principles in volunteerism and role of the youth in strengthening volunteerism. Next will be Miss Ashley Tucaling, who will be reporting importance of voluntary actions. And next is Giannah Vicariato, who will report the types of volunteer work. Next is Gyveneth Bartolaba, who will present to you the laws and issuances supporting the development of volunteerism in the Philippines and the definition of terms. Next is Alvin Cahoy, who will be reporting the different non-governmental volunteer service organizations and importance of voluntary actions. Next is Ms. Liezel-An Catamco, who will report the types of volunteer work, and Dessalyn Cabiladas, who will report the importance of voluntary actions, and last is Ms. Richelle Arat, who will be reporting the definition of terms and voluntary actions. So, first, the learning objectives will be at the end of this module, the students are able to increase their knowledge of the elements and concepts of volunteerism, acquire skills in preparing volunteer work, and that will maximize their involvement and strengthen their spirit of doing voluntary actions, value volunteers' actions as means of helping others.
The first topic for today's lesson is the laws and issuances supporting the development of volunteerism in the Philippines. Republic Act 9418 or the Volunteer Act of 2007. So, it is an act institutionalizing a strategy for rural development, strengthening volunteerism, and for other purposes. So, kani siyang Republic Act, maghatag ni siya og official order sa mga volunteer programs sa national government units para mag-promote o i-encourage ang volunteering sa government programs o projects. Apil na pud ana ang pag-instruct sa mga trabaho sa government para mag-provide og service in volunteering. Mao ni ang main nga gabuhaton sa Republic Act is to provide policy framework on volunteerism with the use of fundamental principles necessary to harness and harmonize the broad and diverse efforts of the voluntary sector into an integrative and effective partnership for local and national development as well as international cooperation. Next is to provide a conducive and enabling environment for volunteers and volunteer service organization by setting mechanisms to protect volunteers' rights and privileges and give you recognition to highlight the roles and contributions to society. And lastly, to provide effective institutional mechanism to strengthen the role of the Philippine National Volunteer Service Coordinating Agency to perform its mandates and to oversee the implementations of this act. Republic Act 8044, the Youth and Nation Building Act. So, it is an act creating a National Youth Commission, establishing a national comprehensive and coordinated program on youth development, appropriating funds, therefore, and for other purposes. So, Republic Act 08044 or the Youth and Nation Building Act was funded by the National Youth Commission or ang Pambansang Komisyon ng Kabataan. It was founded on June 30, 1995. Ang NYC, naapod sila vision nga. First is to become a moving force for youth development, to ensure convergence for youth policies, mobilize resources for the youth development, to provide support to the youth and youth-serving organization, to demonstrate and advocate effective programs, projects, and practices in youth development. So, kani ang NYC, naanay siya yung mga young representatives nga Filipino sa public affairs and governance para mag-lead sa government agencies o private organization of the National Framework for Youth Development. So, here are the core functions of the NYC. First is to research conditions and development needs of the youth and government responses in the form of policies, programs, and projects. Second is to ensure that the government policies, programs, and activities for the youth are alive the priority needs of the sector and achieve to their developmental needs. Next is to establish networks and partnerships within and outside government, including local and international communities. It is to encourage support to the cause of youth development. Fourth is to encourage and promote public interest and participation in youth development. Lastly, it is to build institutions for the youth by training youth-serving organizations to publications and distribution of manual materials, as well as mentoring development strategies. Ang following nga akong basahon or kuan is just of the few nga ilang programs, projects, o mga awards. First one is the Libreng Libro, which is like kuan nila nga program, mag-donate og books. Na pod sila GIP, which is the Government Internship Program. It helps with the contribution to the poverty alleviation program of the government. Now po then adolescent and youth health development advocacies, which educates the youth on reproductive health and HIV. Now po KMN, Kabataan sa Mindanao Natin, which aims to promote peace, racial and cultural tolerance, and human rights in the Mindanao. Naa po NYP, which is the National Youth Parliament, formulates policy recommendations to address issues on youth and other program development. Naa po the MTYDP, the Medium Term Youth Development Plan. It is a guide for government. Naa po the Medium Term Youth Development Plan, which is a guide for government agencies to utilize in the proposal of youth-related programs. And Youth Legal Aid Program provides legal assistance to youth designed to address the problem of abuse and exploitation. Naa po'y Healthy Lifestyle, na ay Anti-Drug Advocacy, LYDP, the Local Youth Development Program. Kampiyon ng Kabataan, na po'y Youth Voice, which is a debate, and ang Ask, which is ang say ng kabataan, and it caters youth issues and concern. Linggo ng Kabataan, committee hearings, YORP or the Youth Organization Registration Program, the SSEAYP, which is the SHIP for Southeast Asian Youth Program, Tayo, and ASEAN Tayo. So I have discussed earlier. It is an act creating a National Youth Commission establishing a national comprehensive and coordinated program on youth development, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. The next topic will be the terms and definitions. So, volunteerism. It is an act involving a wide range of activities including traditional forms of mutual aid and developmental interventions. Commitment or conviction for the attainment of the public good where monetary and other incentives or rewards are not primary motivating factors. So it is the use or involvement of volunteer labor. Like wala, dili forced. Kanang naara sa imo. Ikaw mismo nag-offer na mag-help ka without asking for anything in return or thinking na ay mahatag balik sa imo. Ang imo lang yung goal is to help. Another definition is the principle of donating time and energy for the benefit of other people and the community as a social responsibility. So volunteers. It is an individual or group who reasons arising from their social developmental business and corporate orientation, commitment, or conviction. Contribute time, service, and resources, whether on a full-time or part-time basis, to a just and essential social developmental cause. Mission or endeavor in the belief that their activity is mutually meaningful and beneficial to the public interest as well as themselves. So, volunteers, by definition, is a person who freely offers to take part in an enterprise or undertake a task. It is a person who voluntarily undertakes or expresses a willingness to undertake a service, such as one who enters into military service voluntarily. So kani ang mga volunteers muna sila ang tao nga mag-offer og help willingly. What is the importance of volunteering? So it helps develops a sense of volunteerism. As students, it helps us develop a sense of camaraderie. So aside ra na pag mag-volunteer ta, maka-aid pud ta sa improvement sa atong society. Doing good for others and the community provides a national sense of accomplishment. Being a volunteer can give you a sense of pride and also identity. So with volunteering, we can develop new skills, discover passions, gaining insights about the world and about you. So kani ang pag-volunteer dili ra ni siya dili ra ni siya nga murag ang imurang matun-an is about sa imo ang gina-volunteeran. Yes, makatuon kag daghan. But also maka-help pud siya sa imo realize nga daghan pud kag nahibaw-an about sa imong self through volunteering.
The next definition will be discussed by Ms. Richelle May Arat.
Volunteer service organization refers to a local or foreign groups that recruits and trains, deploys, and support volunteer workers for programs and projects implemented by them or by other organization or by any group that provides service and resources. So, ang volunteer service organization daw is mauni sila ang mga groups nga mag-recruits, mag-trains, o mag-support sa mga lain-lain nga programs, projects na gi-implement sa ilang organization or bisan sa lahi nga mga organization. Like kanang mga activity sa government, then kini sila nga organization, kani sila ka ang baling magtabang sa government para mag-facilitate ani nga kani nga activity. And dili lang sa government but also sa mga lain nga organization nga nag-provide og mga resources or mga service.
So hello, I'm going to report about the different non-governmental volunteer service organizations. So this organizations are not initiated by the government, but it is led and worked by volunteers by different causes in the society. For example, the cause for having a sustainable and healthy community, we have that the Habitat for Humanity Philippines. So this organization, a non-profit organization, which means they don't get profit by any works in this organization. This is not a business, so it's 100% volunteer work. So this organization aims to have a community for our Filipino families, therefore that they would have hope. So it reads here that um, to develop communities, youth programs, water sanitation and facilities, school, health centers, library, and multi-purpose buildings. So, Habitat for Humanity Philippines aims for the Filipino family to have hope within home. So that's the volunteer work for Habitat for Humanity. Another example would be the Child Hope Philippines. So it is also a non-profit organization, and this organization aims that the street children in Metro Manila specifically would have an access to education, such as the basic rights that the children must have. So it reads here their tagline: help the street children hope and dream again. So I think it's very important that our children has a background on the rights that they have and the basic education that they need. But aside from education that these Child Hope Philippines are giving to our street children in Metro Manila, they also extend their help by the health care. So that's the cost for Child Hope Philippines. It's for children. Another also we have for our elderlies, this is called the Coalition of Services of the Elderly, or COSE. So we have the Child Hope for children, and this one is for our elderly. So this is also a non-government organization that aims for a more secure aging in our elderly. So we know na there are some people that when their mom, their dad are already aging, ilan na bitaw ng pasapasahan or biyaan. So ilahang gina-aim diri sa cause is to have our elderlies a more dignified life. So para limpyo sila even though ingana nilang edad, kaning taken care of yapon sila. Of course, that extends also with the shelter and the health. So these are the examples of non-governmental volunteer services organization.
Voluntary sector. Ang voluntary sector refers to those sector of the Philippine society that organize themselves into volunteers to take advocacy and action primarily for local and national development, as well as international cooperation and understanding. So, ang volunteer sector is the section of Philippine society na mag-organize sa ilang kaugalingon into a volunteer para mag-advocate and mag-take action diretso para sa local and national development sa ilang community. There are different voluntary sectors like charities, foundations, social welfare organization. Sample of charities organization are the World Vision, American Red Cross, and YWCA. Foundations is the David Suzuki Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and all in social welfare organization there are Human Rights Watch, Environmental Protection Agency or the EPA. Also there are the advocacy groups. Example is the Privacy International, World Wildlife Fund, and the faith-based organization, the churches, and the temples o mosques. Then the community groups, the neighborhood watch, and the recreational sports, the ultimate frisbee, and etc. These are the different voluntary sectors.
Hello everyone, I am Liezel-An Catamco and I will be discussing types of volunteer work. First type of volunteer work is the formal. Formal volunteering programs are structured and supervised. Long-term programs that also involves long-term regular attendance from the volunteers. Usually kanang naiga manage or naiga coordinate that recruit, train, supervise, and check volunteers' work's outcome. Um, Formal volunteer work includes activities when you volunteer, where you volunteer your time with social or non-profit organizations or mga service clubs. Um, example is example positions are tour guides or docent, mga hospital volunteer, fundraisers for large charities. Sample activities, mag-greet og visitors, giving directions, serving meals to patients, or printing out and mailing letters. Based on what I researched, also ang example of formal volunteer work is kanang mag-visit og mga orphanage, tree planting, and feeding program. Next type is the governance. So volunteers in governance work provide leadership and directions to an organizations. So it tends to involve ongoing leadership roles within a profit organizations. So it helps in the planning and decision making involved in various aspects of an organization's operations. So people in this type of roles often have years of industry experiences related to the non-profit cause and or the other relevant experience, and are typically passionate about the impact of the area or the organization's main focus. Example positions of an governance is parang member of the board directors of a non-for-profit, member of parish administration board, and treasurer for the PTE. Kanang mag-attend og mga regular meetings, taking minutes of the meetings, and basic accounting. So that is the governance. Next type is the non-formal. Non-formal usually done in local communities, kanang mga unfunded and unstructured volunteer work. And those who join programs often think themselves as a member or friends rather than volunteers. Non-volunteer work is different from informal volunteer work. Kaya ang informal volunteer work is voluntary acts of helping and kindness. And it is non-formal volunteer work is a volunteer work you can do as an individual. So example positions of non-formal is kanang guest instructor, kanang teaching arts and crafts, member of neighborhood safety patrol, or street clean up, kanang pick up of trash, and going with a group around the neighborhood to keep it safe. Next type is the social actions, joined together by common advocacy or goal. So it is about people coming together, okay? They have the same advocacy or goal. So they considered each other as friends or comrades. And a social action volunteer program can have structure, for example, having a coordinator or leader, but some do not. So pwede ra sila na ay leader, pwede ra pud wala. And they don't have regular hours of volunteer time. So pwede ra sila magsabot where and when mag-uban together to tackle or talk about local problems and how they can help sa ilang community. Example positions are lobbyists for political groups, campaigners for environmentalism, or advocate for research studies on a certain illness or disease. Kanang mag-attend of rallies, talking to people about issues, making placards, gathering signatures, or making phone calls. So, dara sila makatabang through social actions. The next type of volunteer work will be discussed by Ms. Giannah.
Hi everyone. My name is Vicariato Giannah from IT1R2, and I will be continuing to discuss the types of volunteering works. Project-based, kini siya nga way sa pag-volunteer is hatagan ka kung unsa imong kailangan buhaton within this period of time. Then mas maayo pud ani nga naa kay specific skills, and kani siya pwede ra siya nga dili siya formal jud nga event, or it can be a standalone project. So, pwede po ni siya nga naay leaders or coordinators, pero dili sa pag-manage sa volunteers, pero sa pag-work together. So, these are the examples. Sample positions is member of a committee planning the anniversary of your town. Sample activities are welcoming visitors, drafting a communication plan, soliciting advertisers for a commemorative book. So, let's go to internship year or gap year volunteering. Para ni siya sa mga students or young people like us nga gusto mag-experience nga mag-work for a non-profit or non-government organization. As you can see here, often carried out overseas, and the volunteers are expected nga mag-work within a specific period of time. So, these are the sample positions. Intern or volunteer advocate. Sample activities are teaching a language and assisting the organization in various tasks. So, move na ta sa online volunteering. Online volunteering is like the work can range from mentoring or training to helping design websites or assisting in social media campaigns. This can provide opportunities sa mga walay time or dili man ka-attend physically, or kanang dili pwede makahawa sa balay, or kanang tagalayo nga dapit. Basta kay willing gyud ka nga mo-help. So, these are the sample activities. And the sample positions are learning ally and translators without borders. Sample activities are assist in social media campaign, design websites, and online mentoring. So the last one, micro-volunteering. Micro-volunteering consists of small actions done online that support a cause. O kini siya, dili siya time-consuming. Mahimo rin siya anytime, anywhere, kung saan mo gusto. And the actual task can and should be interesting sa imoa o meaningful. Labaw na gusto gyud ka nga mo-help sa others o sa environment. So, these are the sample activities: providing feedback on marketing materials, sorting food and recyclables, collecting goods for donation, managing an event, and planting a tree. Examples lang na siya. Dagan pa yun na siya na activities na pwede nga himuon. That's all for types of volunteering works.
So, good day everyone. I'm Nicole Camara, who will be reporting the universal principles of volunteerism. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So, the first universal principle of volunteerism is actions are carried out freely and without coercion. So, it means that volunteerism is dili di siya pinugos, but it is an act of kindness and willingness to help other people and contribute to the community, and also contribute to the greater good. So the next principle is there is a beneficiary other than the volunteer. So this means na, for example, ako ang volunteer, or even as not a volunteer, it can be siguro pwede as a student or as a worker. And if the akay gitabagan, you have the benefits na you gave a helping hand to those people who are in need. And the other benefit is you have this feeling of joy and fulfillment na kabalo kagada kay databangan. And the other beneficiary other than me is those people that databangan. Of course, their benefits is their situation or life will be much better compared na wala pa sila databangan. And also, they have received a helping hand from you, from the volunteers. So the second principle reads that both parties have received benefits. So the last principle is financial gain is not the main motivating principle. So meaning ani is money is not the main motivation when it comes to volunteerism. It can be a motivation. It can be personal reasons, your talents, skills, or even your passion or something you're interested about, and other anything na money cannot buy. So those are the universal principles of volunteerism. So hello everyone, I will also be the one to report the role of the youth in strengthening volunteerism. So first is spread the good. So most of the country's population comprises youth. With their vast social networks and technological savviness, youth make for great volunteer recruiters. Encourage teenagers and young helpers to invite their friends and be amazed at what they can accomplish together. So it means na that, di ba, in today's generation, kay ang mga millennials ang mas knowledgeable sa new technologies. I'm not generalizing, but most of us kay mas may experience about ani. And since we have that kind of skills, it is better na gamito nato siya sa greater good, which is ang mag-volunteer. For example, ni-appeal kag isa ka organization and you want to invite your friends or even family nimo, you can help the organization by recruiting new members with the help of the social media. Siguro pwede ka magbuhat og posters, slogans. You can also make teaser videos and post it on your social media accounts since it will catch the attention of other people. And with that, nakatabang na ka sa ibang organization and the people na mo join since you encourage them to have confidence in volunteering. So next is introduce fresher perspectives. An organization invites energetic perspectives and new ideas. Give young volunteers the space to communicate and innovate with each other. So it means kay when introducing volunteerism to the youth, it doesn't literally mean na energetic perspective kay di nila og member na extroverted and permy, happy. It means that they want to invite members that will positively contribute to the group, and it's better to invite teenagers who are willing to take the responsibility. Excuse me. And someone who can adjust to the environment and blend well with others, and someone who can speak its mind and share ideas that will greatly impact the audience. Because as a volunteer, kinahanglan pud kag people that have a positive mindset and vibes so that the organization can function properly. Next is foster lifelong engagement. Those who volunteer when they're young are more likely to become philanthropic adults invested in their communities. instills empathy, inspires a sense of citizenship, and helps youth find pathways to meaningful education and work. So it means that being a volunteer for how many years, it will shape you as a person who devotes their time, passion, and responsibility to the community and its people. And that where as part of city and that's where as part of citizenship starts. Volunteerism lets you develop an emotion that we call empathy, where we understand and share the other person's feelings. Um, we also build connections to those people who we engage with, and that connection will serve as a gateway to also help us in the future. And while gabuhatag mga volunteer acts through the years, we are also helping the community to be a better place to live, which can secure our safety and health when we get older. And that's all for the role of youth in strengthening volunteerism.
So the first importance of voluntary actions is volunteering connects you to others. It allows you to connect to your community, which will boost your social skills and make new friends along the way while also making the community a better place. So it helps you make new friends and contacts, increase your social and relationship skills, and volunteering as a family. It helps you to connect and socialize more and be extroverted. It is also a way to explore and meet new friends that might turn into a family because of volunteering. So volunteering connects you to others because you'll be able to meet new people in a new environment, and also it is a way for us to unite, diba? And volunteering is not just volunteering is beneficial for us because it is not just about the connectedness or the friendship that we'll be making. It is also for us para maglingkod sa atong kapwa-tao and to make our community a better place. And makahelp sad sa ato or pwede natong mahimong strength ang atong social skills by volunteering, since social skills is very important to make our lives bearable. Since if ma-develop na nimo ang social skills, dili na ka maglisod mag-meet og new people, and di na po ka maglisod og adjust. So the second importance of voluntary actions is volunteering is good for your mind and body. Volunteering provides many benefits to both mental and physical health. Volunteering helps counteract the effects of stress, anger, and anxiety. Volunteering increases self-confidence. Volunteering provides a sense of purpose. Volunteering combats depression. Volunteering makes you happy. Volunteering helps you stay physically healthy. So instead of locking yourself up to the world, try to come out of your comfort zone and try volunteering because it is a big help for your mental and physical health. Helps you not to think about negative things because sometimes we isolate ourselves too much to the point that it will lead us to depression. So volunteering really helps you to socialize, as what I've said earlier, and it helps us not to be sad or lonely, especially to us teenagers, diba, we are prone to depression and anxiety. So it is really a big help for us to grow and be socially active. And though if you're really an introvert, just try things slowly and you'll get there. And about the physical health, diba, instead of gahigda na ta sa tong balay or gasurf na ta sa internet, volunteering can makamake ka og kanang things nga dili nimo usually ginabuhat sa inyong balay, kay since lagi if narata sa balay sige man tag cellphone, so maka-help siya sa tong physical health kay makaliyok-liyok po ta sa tong body. So the next slide will be presented by Gab.
So yes, also volunteering can advance your own career. So maybe you have already your own career now, or in the future you will have your own. One way or another, you will have your own career. So in volunteering before, if you have been a volunteer, definitely you also had such experiences that gained skills that allowed you to gain skills such as teamwork, communication, problem solving, project planning, task management, and organization. So, these skills magamit sa mo siya sa imong own career. So, if you've been volunteering if you are still a volunteer, maadna nimo siya sa imong CV or sa imong resume that you are a volunteer for this cause. Definitely maybe ma-attract pud ang imong employer kung nag-apply na ka sa real job. You are a volunteer, definitely basin na kay own task nga ni, because pag volunteer busy jud na siya if ever ang imong organization dagan og ganap. So through that experiences, you will have these skills you can use for your own career that you could advance for your career.
Hello everyone, I am Dessalyn Cabiladas and I am discussing about volunteering brings fun and fulfillment in your life, and consider your goals and interests from importance of voluntary action. So, volunteering brings fun and fulfillment in your life. Doing volunteer work you find a meaningful and interesting can be a relaxing, energizing escape from your day-to-day routine of work, school, or family commitments. Many people use volunteering as a way to pursue their hobbies while making a difference. For example, if you're interested in the outdoors, you might volunteer at your community garden or help out at children's camp. Volunteering for organization or causes also may provide you with a renewed sense of creativity and motivation that carries over into your personal and professional lives. So, other example is gusto ka mag-volunteer for donating foods to those homeless people, not just volunteer, but it also brings you joy nga makahelp for humanity. And lastly is, consider your goals and interests. So, you will have a richer and more enjoyable volunteering experience if you first take some time to identify your goals and interests. If you're interested to volunteer, you likely know that it involves donating your time, effort, and service. While most volunteer roles are unpaid, applicants looking to make a difference and gain valuable experience should consider sending an email message inquiring about such opportunities. Like for example, interested in mahilig kag talamnon and your goals is makahelp ka sa organization by volunteering tree planting. It also help our environment and to prevent flooding also, di ba? Kay mag tree planting man, so dili lang makabrings og joy sa imong life, but it also help our environment to prevent flooding, di ba? So again, consider your goals and interests is connected siya gyapon sa volunteering brings fun. Kay kung dili ka interested sa imong and di ka interested sa imong goals, so why not dili ka happy by volunteering, di ba? So that's all. That's the end of my discussion. Thank you.
And that ends our discussion. Thank you all for listening.